I'll just get started, and then you can step in and ask me questions if you don't think I explained something properly. But there's been a lot of chat, obviously, about the card game, and you know, I think we've clarified a lot of the questions. Like why are we doing a card game? Well, we created the 2D concept art for the 10 different planets. We have 10 creatures for each of the planet types, and then we have plants and trees. We've started. Well, we set up our office in Puerto Rico, and we started hiring some local game developers. We joined a game development association, and two of our developers, have over 20 years of game development experience. And these are like old school developers in a sense. But the one guy who we're working with, he's also an artist. So he makes the 3D art from scratch. And so it was a perfect opportunity because, we're building this card arena, and our goal is to start, turning this 2D concept art into reality. And so now we have the people to start making that happen. But the card arena is a it's kind of like if you guys ever played Final Fantasy, it's like triple triad for Final Fantasy. But it's more of like a Magic the Gathering type thing, and it played in perfectly with what we had already created, which is the 2D concept art, because we can we add a frame around it, we assign some attributes and values to that thing that we created, and we just made a game out of it. And it's a lot easier to make a card game than it is a virtual world. So it adds a new utility, and it gives the player something to do as we continue to develop out this entire project. So yeah, that's why we did it. But what is the Arena of the Stars? And I don't know if we're sticking with that name. I know that that's what we've been calling it behind the scenes. But basically, it's a player versus player, card game, similar to, let's say, Magic the Gathering or Hearthstone. So it's turn-based, but you can play against people for kyanite. So that's a cool little bonus. It adds a whole new utility. A percentage of each match that someone plays, the kyanite the staked kyanite will basically just disappear. I guess we shouldn't call it burned, but it does go away. So it's going to add a new utility there. And I will stop there for a sec. Stuart, do you have any questions?
No, all I was going to say was that it's a great idea, like you say, not to call it burnt, but to be able to be reducing the kyanite size, and that's what people have been crying out for. An extra utility for kyanite is what people are crying out for. So that's a great move from StarShip. So excellent.
Yeah, and because obviously people are mining, when they mine in-game kyanite, it doesn't increase the reward pool kyanite. It just increases the amount that can be unstaked. So that's why you see us every time the market orders on Atomic Hub or Nifty blocks happen, and we get a small percentage of the volume. That volume ends up getting put right into the rewards pool, where we do you see those spikes on kyanite. That's because we have to do a buyback to keep enough kyanite in the rewards pool so that people who are mining it can take it away. So we're creating it within the game. This will be the first time that we're burning it within the game. And if we dive a little deeper into the details, our new smart contract, I would like to talk about that a little bit. We still have the old one, but so we still have the old smart contract, but because of its size, we have to add a whole new contract. So now we have two contracts interacting with each other. So right now in testing, we don't see any problems. Everything's been tested, but when we get it on mainnet, we'll do a little bit more testing and see where we're at. But sorry, I have someone texting me. That threw me off. Any questions, Stuart? Oh, I want to go into the smart contract though. So basically, we're going to have our in-game marketplace. So you guys will be able to buy and sell as soon as we turn that functionality on within the smart contract. I think we're rolling it out in phases, but while we test it, so while we live test it. But basically, you can buy and sell, but also the game can buy and sell. So if you want to come to if you want to sell a component back to the game, that's going to be a possibility in the future. And the reason why we added that was because of the arena tickets. You basically buy an arena ticket from the game, you play for arena tickets, but then you can sell those back to the game. So there's a new functionality where you can buy from the game and sell to the game. Now I don't know how many NFTs we're going to turn the feature on so that we can purchase it from you. Not right away, at least. It's probably one of those things where we'll slowly roll it out, and we'll continue to add more NFTs that we're willing to purchase back. So there's that, and then the staking contract, which is also a part of this new contract that we're launching. It's really interesting. Basically, you stake your first edition creatures. When people purchase regular edition NFTs from the game, then that kyanite gets distributed into these staking pools. So if you're buying a hyper snake from the game, then it's distributing that into the hyper snake first edition liquidity pool, which is then getting distributed daily or weekly to the users. And that's another thing too, is we don't know if it's going to be daily or weekly, just because we don't know how much the RAM and net and CPU costs to do it daily, because there's going to be 200 first edition between the creatures and then the sign Malia. Well, you have the plots also. So anyways, so you have daily or weekly distributions from those reward pools. So did you have something to say, Stuart?
No, I was just going to say that it's it's unrealistic for anyone to think that we can give a definitive answer. Like you say, you've got to work out what's going to be right for the game and things like that. And exactly like you said, sort of 2 or 3 transactions a day. What is that going to end up costing on CPU and net? It's got to be looked at.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. Just obviously, like Stuart said, anything that we come out with, it's there's a chance that we can change it. Nothing's set in stone until we run it with everybody and see just how it is and how it goes. So anyways, right now, in terms of, I think the next question is when is it available? Right now they are putting things together. So when this rolls out, which I want to talk about how it rolls out. We've created the mission control area in 3D. So, obviously there's no VFX things, there's no like asteroids floating around and stuff like that. Not yet. But, we're getting a minimum viable product out and a little MVP, and we will, perfect it as it's as people are playing the game. We might tweak a a creature's attack ability or assign Molly's ability, or maybe a grassland plot is given 1 point, but that's too many. We'll start working on things like that. Plus, adding different visual effects. So, it may not come out as something where cards are blowing up and we have all the sound effects and everything, but it is going to be playable. And we have our smart contract built. We have our servers, built, and they've already wired the existing game into this new 3D environment. So it's, I could see it launching. The question is, when is it available? It could be available this week, and it could be available next week. So that's exciting. I hate to give a definite answer because everyone here knows how that goes. So
if we was to say realistically within a month.
Yeah, definitely within a month.
So if we sort of go with within a month, and then if we're before within a month, then that's great news for everyone. But it gives us a bit of leeway, that a week or two may roll into 2.5 weeks or so. So I think that way we can keep everybody reasonably happy.
Yep. So this arena and the mission control area, which is where you'll perform all of your actions that you do right now. So you have the mission control area, the arena, so you can go back and forth from mining on planets to playing in the arena if you want. There's 3 different. Go ahead, Stuart.
No, sorry. It just clicked in my head that it's going to be, basically what we see on the NFT game now will be on the same on the arena game, but essentially sort of turn left for the NFT game, turn right for the arena game, but on a 3D platform.
Exactly. Yeah.
Awesome.
So we don't have our characters set up yet, the 3D characters. So everyone's going to get a droid, and they'll, float around with that thing. But that's something that we're going to just start to build in. So I wanted to talk about the decks too. There's 3 different types of decks. There's a default free deck, so free to play. We're trying to make it to where, and I don't know if this will be ready by launch, but we want to make it to where people can just log in with an email. When they buy the NFTs get staked in a smart contract. So let's say they were to use and it's not set up yet. So, it's one of those things that might be set up, but again, it might not be. But let's say they just log in with their email, they buy some in-game kyanite for, on Google Pay or something. They get it, they buy NFTs, they're being staked in the smart contract, and then at some point, if they want to create a Wax wallet, link it with their email and withdraw those NFTs, they can. But because of how we made the smart contract, I think specifically for this, a lot of things end up getting staked inside of the contract. So that's positive. So you have the default free deck that people can use. We'll have a free to play, like just where you can play with the default deck. You can play for free. You don't have to use kyanite, just to get people kind of into it and understanding everything. And then we have a subscriber deck. So subscriber deck, you subscribe. There's going to be some other features that I won't go into right now, but for subscribers. But basically, you can build a deck with any type of card. That way, you know what you like before you try to buy the NFTs for that card. So it's kind of like, that way you're not just like buying everything and you don't know if it's something you're going to like or whatever. But yeah, there'll be a subscriber deck, and then obviously your NFT decks. So at first we'll start with 3 NFT decks. So you could build, 3 decks. And this is a cool part too. We made it easy So if you have an NFT staked, you could use it on all 3 decks. So you don't have to, uh, the NFT isn't like deck specific. So, once it's used in a deck, that's like you should be able to use it in all 3 decks. So we added that little feature. I think you guys will like that. But cost of entry, we will have that was the next question is what's the cost of entry, which I kind of touched on, but there'll be a free version, hopefully, where people can just log in with an email, and then there'll be a version where you can buy these NFTs, admission tickets, and they'll be called, Infinity Arena ticket, Infinity ticket, Infinity NFT. We're not sure what we'll finalize the name as, but basically, you can buy let's say a $1 NFT. You can, or an arena ticket. You play against another person who has a level 1 ticket, and the winner gets a level 2 ticket, and both the level 1s, disappear. Then you can sell that level 2 ticket back to the game for Kaina if you want it. But there's multiple levels. So, how we imagine the marketing pitch goes is, play 20 levels and you get $5,000 worth of Kyanite or something. I don't know. So let's say there's 20 different levels. You can play with the level 1 ticket, level 2, level 3. You can exit the tournament at any time. You can enter at any point. And you can, just, you could go from level 1 up to level 20 if you wanted to. So it, obviously it all depends on the person's play style. But I imagine some people are only going to play, a $10 ticket. Some people are going to start at a $1 one and play their way up. So I don't know what's going to happen on that front. So we'll just kind of have to see what everybody does. So the next question, unless Stuart, do you have any questions?
Not really questions, but I think having the free to play is a wonderful idea because it will really give people the time to be able to educate themselves with the game, how to play the game, their best style of play, their best management style, and then they can make their own evaluation on what their risk management should be. So I think it's a really, really good idea. It's good for new people to get into cryptocurrency because they can come in, have a look, and they're not forced to be able to buy anything. So I think it's a really, 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 really good idea. So it's only positive for StarShip, positive for the community, because when we all tell our friends and family and things like that about it, at least now we can get them into the game, with an email address rather than
Yep.
or
And I don't know if that's going to be done by the time. But basically, we have our mission control area, we have our arena, then we'll go through and perfect everything, and we'll add little features. We'll revisit the login. Nobody's done anything with the login for like over a year, and there's obviously some things that we could do to make things simpler. So, but the next question is, with the amount of NFTs that's eventually going to be available, what's a reasonable amount people would require? For instance, I have all grassland creatures and 3 plants. How would I use these in game? So the first edition creatures, they're kind of like blueprints to create the regular edition ones. But later on, when we allow people to build on planets and stuff, you'll be able to blend regular edition for, let's say, a spawn point. You'll be able to, do the, maybe you craft one of those to get some other type of material. But everything gets blended. We even have I want not just things to get created, but I want an exit for those things. Like we were talking about creating an arena NFT where you can blend the mythic component into an arena NFT, and then you could stake that arena NFT and earn kyanite every time an arena game is played. It's not set in stone yet, but the concept behind it is we want an exit for things. We want you to be able to turn mythic components into something. We want you to be able to turn your regular edition creatures, not just into cards that you can play with, but maybe a spawn point that you can place later on. Maybe you end it and get I don't know. There's always another blend it can be turned into. I think that's important. Otherwise, things will stagnate, and it'll get to a point where maybe those things just are like a penny each, like those Pluto Alliance posters on Atomic Hub. So I'd like to find a use for those too. But we'll find a use for everything. I know a lot of people were talking about the Black Hole King stickers. So once the blending is done in game, then we can do it right. So right now, when we go to blend on Nifty Block, if we were to use kyanite as the main blend, it doesn't adjust to dollar value. So let's say I want to have $1 worth of kyanite blended when you craft a resonator. Well, the problem is kyanite moves so fast that $1 could be $2 tomorrow, and then we have to change the blend. It's fine if you have one blend, but when you have 100 blends, it's really difficult to delete them because they don't let you just change that number for some reason. You actually have to delete the blend and then make it all over again. It doesn't save the data from when you delete it. So basically the point is, once blending's done in game, you'll see a lot more uses for kyanite also. But anyways, Stuart, do you have did I answer that okay?
Yeah, no, that was excellent. I'd like to sort of back up what you said about the blends. Yes, they do fluctuate a lot, but trying to keep up with it on a manual basis is just so difficult.
Yeah, but we're going to be able to. So how the new contract is being structured, basically, we can change the amount of kyanite that equals $1, and then we can set all of the blends at a dollar value, which even the components, like if this component's supposed to, mine 1 penny every parsec, then we set it at that, and it just does the calculation every time you mine. And now we only have to change the dollar value of the kyanite in one place. So we make a change in one place, and it allows our blends and our mining and everything to be consistent across the board. Right now we have to change the mining, the components, multiple times, 6 different rows, 12 deep. It's just not sustainable that way. So anyways, that's what we're going to do. So
it's all the benefit of this marketplace in game.
Well, not just the marketplace, just literally everything. So I guess it's kind of like an oracle, if that makes sense, which is something we should have had a long time ago. So will my StarShip tokens have any benefit in game? They have the benefit of increasing the rarity of your ships, obviously. I don't believe we have an added bonus for people who are playing in the arena. But that's something out on that front. We'll add other purposes for it inside of the main portion of the game that we're starting to build. So what benefits of owning a puzzle? obviously the puzzles are beautiful. We used a really high quality material, and it ended up costing us, like 6 times more to use this material than to use the lowest quality material. And if you look at like another puzzle on Amazon, you'll say, "Oh, this is 1,000 piece, but you know, it's like an 8 by 12, and ours is like a 20 by 28. It's a massive puzzle. I was looking for picture frames to put it in earlier, but basically, it's not just high quality, but it's a lot bigger than regular puzzles, and there's a QR code on the side to give you an in-game item. That in-game item is a first edition plot, which is like the blueprint NFT. All of our first edition NFTs are like blueprints, and what we're going to do is you stake that NFT every time someone buys a regular edition. Then there's the in-game kyanite that's going to go to a rewards pool for the people who are staking, which will get distributed daily or weekly. So you get a first edition plot NFT, which the regular editions are used inside of the arena. So every regular edition plot card, you end up getting a ability point. Like every regular edition plot card in play, you get an ability point per turn. So it's actually really important card for people. At least the regular editions are. You don't have to get the first edition if you don't want. But yeah, that's that. So is it on wax? Yes, everything is on wax. And our new contract is too. Does it incorporate the Starship Universe / UK plots? It doesn't yet. I did talk to Drew over there at Cake / Unreal Kingdoms, and he wants to get the React login for the React code to do the login for Starship game, and we have all the functionality and stuff. So he could actually pool our web GL game inside of Cake, and Unreal Kingdoms. But we just need to get time to do that. Everybody's busy. He's busy with his launch on the 15th, and our development team is trying to get this arena out to you on schedule. So anyways, yeah, we'll get it all tied together at some point. I just don't know when. And it won't affect anything. You guys could, either play from within there or, come to the same game or play.deploystarship.com website and play from there. It's doesn't hurt anything. It just makes us more accessible. So, Stuart, do you have any questions?
No, you're doing an amazing job at explaining everything.
Okay. So how is a Starship NFT game involved, and are there benefits to playing both games? So how is Starship NFT game involved with the arena? Do you think that's the question, Stuart?
I think it's basically if people play both of the games and are invested in both games, is there any benefits to doing that, or is it the same sort of the same kind of odds for just playing one?
So when I talked to Drew, what we were talking about doing was creating a like a mining rover, and you have spawn points that pop up, and you can drive around and mine kyanite. So it would integrate our current wax contract in game features, well, some of them, into Unreal Kingdom or the Starship Universe plots. So it would be the same mining game, just a different environment. Instead of you're flying a ship, you're driving a rover. So you know that was kind of the thought process behind it. I don't know how it's going to evolve, but we'll see how it goes. But as I said, they're getting ready for a launch on the 15th, and we're getting ready to launch our card arena also. It says I have X amount of planets. Does that give me any advantage? We are working those features into the smart contract. That's the next phase. So when the mission control center launches and the arena launches, those should launch together, hopefully. Um, we'll start dressing up. We'll make cards explode. We'll add more music and sounds, and these guys are very, very adamant about adding all these things before we move on. So you have like player settings. You create the character creation screen on login, so you can pick your character. We have all these types of things done first, and then we create the space station area. And during that phase, we're going to add a whole bunch of features for the space station owners. So the station owners are going to be able to, maybe they're running ads, maybe they're selling their own NFT collection at their space station. Maybe they want to do airdrops to their planet holders. So we're going to add the airdrop features, just multiple. There's actually a list of like 20 different things that we sent around to the different station owners, and they were like, we want this, we want this. If they want to change their banner on their station, they can do it themselves. That's the goal. Like there's a lot of times when they depend on us a little bit too much, and it just seems like it's not a smart contract at that point. So anyways, that's the next part of it. We launched that station area. It'll be 3D. That's where the players actually will engage. They should have a character that they can walk around with, and the station owners should be able to dress their stations up and customize it however they want. And maybe they throw events. We talked to somebody yesterday about streaming, like music streaming. So the players could, I don't know if the players pay for it, if it comes out of their Kaine balance or what, but every time you stream this music, and then they would have artists who would basically exclusively only play their songs in your game for like, let's say 2 days. So that's like a big promotion thing. Anyways, we may have that set up at some point too. Maybe it's for the people who are subscribing. I don't know yet, but these things I don't want to say or set anything in stone, because a lot can change in a short amount of time. Whether that's a partnership falling out, let's say we don't get that deal with them. So let's just take it one day and one step at a time. But we will include different quests and things that can reward those planet holders. It's just a matter of time is all. So how do you play the game? A verbal walkthrough, including setup, gameplay, how to score, eliminate, winners, rewards. So I touched on the rewards a little bit. The gameplay is really easy because I've been messing with it, but I don't think that I had enough trouble explaining it to people in the arena card information room. I actually thought I did a good job, but a lot of people said they didn't understand it. So I'm not going to try to explain it to you verbally, but as soon as it launches, you should be able to play for free. You get the hang of it, and then if you want to, dive even deeper into it, then you can, and purchase arena tickets and battle other players. So, what's the long-term plan with the arena game? So, I really think that card games are Well, I know that they're really popular. There's a lot of people who love them, and they're perfect for blockchain stuff. So it all depends on the player base. If people don't want to play the card game, then that's okay. If they, I think the art is beautiful. I think the cards are beautiful. The game, I think, is fun and it's exciting. We've thrown some twists onto it. Like if you and a player had these exact same cards, there's a chance that, well, there's a 100% chance that none of their stats or anything are going to be the same. You could have a hyper snake. Let's say it has one attack and one defense, but in the beginning of the game, there's this multiplier that's rolled on each of the card types. So the number 1 slot card for the grassland planet, let's call it a hyper snake. The number 2 slot card for the grassland planet, it's called a blitzhorn. And then the number 1 slot planet for the desert planet is a I can't remember the creatures' names over there, but the point is there's a unique identifier from 1 to 10 for the creatures on each of the planets. So every time we release a new set, there's going to be 10 creatures for each planet. There's going to be 10, Cymalia for each planet, and 1 plot. So that's a set of cards. It's 21 cards, and then there's 10 planets, so it's 210 cards. That's basically. I don't know. We'll just leave it at that. Stuart, do you have any questions?
No. What I really like, and you've already touched on it, is the free play. And I think that's the best thing out of all of it, really. It's because people can really understand it. If people have got any questions, play it. Answer your own questions.
Something else we're gonna do too, which I think you guys are gonna love, and it might actually make you some money if your channel was to blow up. So you'll be able to rewind, and I don't know when this comes out. It's probably not going to be out right when the arena launches, but you'll be able to open your screen and replay your hands. So you open your screen, you replay your hands. Let's say that you played 20 games. It'll play through those 20 games for you, and you can just watch it like you're watching a TV show. You could then stream that onto Twitch. So what we want to do, so we're trying to build in different marketing features to help, create some brand awareness that are integrated into the game for the players. So, one of those is replaying your game. Obviously, you might not want to play or stream live, because then the opposing player could see the cards that are in your hand. But for anybody that wants to, make a Twitch account or YouTube account. I don't know how long. Ryan would probably know, but I don't know how long you can stream live on YouTube. But you could do that every day, and maybe you just do recordings. I don't know, but the more, and that's easy to do. The more people who do those kinds of things within the community, the more engagement we're going to get, the more players we're going to get. I think it'll be good for everyone. But anyways, so how many developers are working? So obviously, Vince has been overseeing just kind of like the GitHub, and making sure we give proper permissions to people, making sure people upload their code every week so that we can maintain control of things. And he works a full-time job, so we don't count that, but it's a huge help. And Vince is a primate. So then we have one backend developer for Wax. We had two. One of them quit, but we have our one, and he is a rock star. So we've actually talked about him coming to Puerto Rico too. So he's from Turkey, and he really wants to get out of Turkey, but he's doing a beautiful job. I wasn't sure, if I could explain exactly what I wanted with the smart contract. So I actually built this like flow chart. It was this massive flow chart. There's so much going on, and this smart contract developer, he looked at it and he built it. Like he took all of the steps needed to make it happen, and he made it happen. And it's a beautiful smart contract. Like it's a work of art, and a lot of thought went into it. So I'm really excited about that person. Then we have a developer. He has over 20 years of experience developing in Unity, and he's really good. He can do anything in Unity. The card game, the server setup, the multiplayer server setup. There's the lobby feature. So he does that, and then we have our artist, our 2D artist. Everybody knows him, Carlos. And now we have a 3D artist who also can develop in Unity. So he's the one doing all the 3D developments. We have made a lot of friends in Puerto Rico. There's 70% of the people who graduate in Puerto Rico are graduating from STEM fields. And then we joined the Game Developer Association here, and we're meeting artists. There's animators, there's these, VFX artists that, do things with smoke and whatever. But, we just don't have the resources to bring them on yet. But we do have the 3D artist, and he's very well rounded in a lot of the things he can do. And who knows what happens with this arena? The more you play, the more it supports us, and the more we can contribute to future developments. So we have. What would you say that is, Stuart? Is there 4 or 5 between Carlos, and if that doesn't include the writers? So there's not just like coders and developers, but there's also writers and 2D concept artists. So
what I'll say exactly the same as you. They're both rock stars. Their willingness to help and to prioritize what's needed and go out of their way to ensure that it gets done. It is amazing, and it's complete opposite to what we were used to. And it is a really, really nice thing to see. Like you said, with the smart contract, with the information.
That's the thing too, guys. Like, go look at the smart contracts on all of these, so-called metaverses and games and stuff, and just see what's going on there. And a lot of them, a lot of times there is no smart contract stuff. There's just like this 3D world you're walking around in, and maybe you can connect your wallet or something, but just doesn't feel like what I imagine blockchain gaming should be, if that makes sense. So, but yeah, ours is very engaging. I think you guys are gonna love it. But anyways, let me move on. So this is off topic. And I know you guys are probably excited about playing the marbles game, but this is kind of off topic. How is Dexy doing? What can the community do to help aid this? Can you throw us some what if numbers? Yeah, so Dexy's doing very good. Right now, I would say it's mostly our admins trading on it. I know Andrew and Carrie have been, very active on Dexy. I've been providing trades. So I don't know if people know this, but when we first started StarShip, we had a trading group, and there's about 13,000 people following trades that we would call. And there's me and another trader mostly. Uh, so we would, provide these trades. The community would follow them, and then that evolved into StarShip. So I started providing the trades again. I think our group is, because I can see how much was deposited, and then I can see the total money available between all of the account balances. So they're up about 40 or 50% in value since they started. So it's a really good group. And if you guys want to join it, and we can talk about trading, and I can provide trades. Just reach out to Stuart or Ryan, and or Andrew, and we'll get you added to that group as soon as possible. So it is a private group, and we interview people before they come on, and we want to build like an exclusive private club. I think it's fun when it's not so easy to join, if that makes sense. And then everybody contributes something. If they're not traders, like uh, if they're not giving trades, then maybe they're doing interviews, or they're writing articles, or they're inviting people, um, or just they're at the bare minimum trading on that platform, because that's a huge help too. Because obviously it generates a little bit of commission, and then we can utilize that for the promises that are made in the white paper, which I don't know if you guys have read that yet, but definitely check it out to read. It says, can you throw us what if numbers? Probably not. What is Dexy? Does 50 to 100K volume? Oh, what if it does 50 to 100K volume? So how it works is, if there was $1 million volume, it would make $300 in royalties. So I know 1 million sounds like a lot, but it is a derivatives platform. So you could have $1,000 in your account, do a 10x trade, open it and close it, and that counts as $20,000 volume. So on a $1,000 account, you could get 20,000 volume. I've seen personally, some $1,000 accounts get well over $100,000 volume in a day. So, it doesn't take much, is what I'm saying. If we had 100 people trading on Dexy, they all had $1,000. They were all day trading. We could easily see a $10 million volume a day mark, and a $10 million volume a day would be about $3,000 a day. Now, what can we do with $3,000 a day? Quite a bit. That would be incredible. We could pay for 4 months of our developers and employees' salary in a month. Like a month of that would pay for 4 months of overhead costs. So that's why it's so important, if you are a trader, to trade on Dexy. That's why it's so important, if you know traders, to refer them to Dexy. There's a lot we can do. We want to make our governance system. We want to do our DEX at some point. We want to build out those liquidity pools. The more we can build out now, the better it's going to be. A year from now or 2 years from now. Like, every effort we can give to that is going to be like multiplied by a factor of, let's say, 100. It's going to be crazy. So we want to come together. Like how do we do this? Like, I try to do as much as I can in a day, but what can everyone do to contribute back to the community and in our one goal or our multiple goals. So anything you can contribute, please do. In terms of referrals and things like that. Thank you to all the people who purchased puzzles. That was amazing and super helpful. From puzzle sales alone, we've paid for probably the developer's salary this month. So that's incredible. Like that is so incredibly helpful. So thank you to everybody who contributed in that way. And if you don't know about the puzzles, definitely go check them out. It's deploystarship.com/shop. So that's a huge help, and the money goes towards developing our game.